Hey, welcome to part 3 of my series on how to buy a home. At this point in the process, we have talked about how to get your pre-approval for your financing and how to find the house, and now we are going to make an offer. So this is the RE21, the purchase and sale agreement. This is the document that you're going to use to actually submit that offer to the seller. And as you can see, there's a lot to it. It's 8 pages long and there's 45 sections. So I'm not going to overwhelm you and hit every single little thing today. I'm just going to cover some of the key, most important parts so that you can be familiar. Let's get started. All right, so the first page of this document covers how much you're going to pay for the house and where you're getting that money from. So let's talk purchase price. Every house has a list price, but you don't necessarily have to pay the exact number that they're asking for. You can do that, or you could give them a little bit more or a little bit less. How are you going to decide what you want to do? I think it comes down to 2 questions. What are similar homes in the area selling for? And how important is it to you that you get this house in particular? As I mentioned in my last video, as an agent, I have access to a bunch of information on what houses in the neighborhood have sold for, or maybe even just similar ones in the area. So if we're looking at a house that was built in the 70s, but has been really nicely remodeled, let's compare it to another house from the 70s that's been remodeled in the same area. If they're around the same price, great, probably make an offer in that neighborhood. If it's really far off in one direction, or you know that it's been sitting on the market for a really long time, then maybe you try and haggle. There's the other side of it is, how important is it to you that you are in this particular house? If you're in love with it, go for it, give them full price. If you are okay with it being this one, or maybe if they don't like it, we'll try again, or maybe you just like to negotiate, then maybe offer less. It's entirely up to you. As an agent, I just try and give you all the information that you need so that you can make that informed decision. The other part of it is, how are you going to pay for it? So this is why we talked about in the first video pre-financing. They're going to want to know from the get-go, are you getting it from your bank account or are you getting it from a lender, and how much are they giving you? They're also going to ask you about earnest money. Earnest money is your way as a buyer to tell them, hey, I'm serious about this home, and if you accept my offer, I'll throw some of my own money on the table so you know I'm not going to walk away. Usually this is about 1% of the purchase price, and the way it plays out is you will write out a check and it'll get deposited in either a brokerage account like Coldwell Banker Tomlinson or the title company where you're going to do your closing. They're not going to cash it until the offer has been accepted, so you don't have to worry about that. But once the offer has been accepted, that's your reason to not break the contract. If you randomly decide, I want to go find a different house, then you have to lose that money. But if the seller's the one who breaks the contract, or if something just falls through with inspections, you'll get all that money back. So that's earnest money. You're going to see a section called Items Included and Excluded. So what's coming with the house and what are the sellers taking with them? As a general rule, if it's nailed down, it's included, but if it's something that would be easy to pick up and take away with you, probably not included. So think about one of those fancy microwaves that's built into the wall, probably included. If it's a microwave that's sitting on a countertop plugged into the wall, probably not included. So for example, a stovetop tends to be included, while a refrigerator, since you can move it, probably isn't. If you're walking through a house and you're not 100% sure what's included, what's not, oh man, we really want that fridge, but we really don't want those curtains, this is your section to write it out. Finally, you're going to set up your timeline for closing. Closing is basically everything in between when you get the offer accepted and when you actually move in. I'm going to talk a little more in depth about the whole closing process in my next video, so for now I'll just say it's usually about 30 days, and there are a handful of things that need to get done so that both parties have all the information they need to finish the sale. All right, so once we have everything filled out, we're going to send it over to the listing agent, and we'll give the sellers a certain period of time to respond to us. They can choose 3 different options. Accept, which is where they're happy with everything we wrote, we're good to go. They can decline, which is where they're done with us, we're not the one they chose. Or they can counter, which is where they will fill out an RE21 of their own and send it back to us with whatever changes they wanted made. At this point, you as the buyer have the option. You can accept that counter, you can decline it, or you can counter back to them. There is no limit to the number of times you can counter back and forth until either somebody gives up or you reach an agreement that everybody's happy with. So, now that you've got that house under contract, we're going to move into the closing process. Next week, that's going to be the topic for the video. But until then, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me because I'd love to help. Have a good one.